It's very interesting for me when I see these kind of bills. I don't know anything about farming, right? So put that straight up out there. I'm not going to pretend like I do. But when I read this kind of stuff, when I hear story or not stories, but like, you responding, and saying, hey, here's the deal, here's what's going on. It reminds me of like restaurants, which I have worked in. It reminds me of other industries where you've got big players and you've got small players. And it's very convenient. A lot of big players always seem to support all this new legislation that would affect them. Okay. And by that, I mean, they might have to make some changes in their facility. But in general, from what I've observed, one of two things happens. A lot of these major companies, they've already made the change, so they're good to go. Or making the change, it might cost a lot of money, but to them, comparative to the smaller players in the game, it's like almost like pennies, right? Like, yeah, we'll have to charge, not charge, but we'll have to pay a fair amount of money, but for the revenue that we're bringing in, whatever, like it'll work. And then smaller, entities, whether it's farming or restaurant, they just simply cannot play in the game anymore because they basically got priced out by regulations.
Yeah, that's essentially, and there is actually a term for that when the corporations use the government to petition to kind of take over and to help, with their own agenda, which is, keeping the small mom and pop shops from being able to, be part of the competition. That's literally called fascism, right?
Right.
Like that's where we're at. And that agriculture, it's very, very obvious because the price caps that they put on farms, and then offer crop insurance, like the subsidies, there are a lot of, big farming is very lucrative. But you also lose that connection. You have these corporate farms that are in charge of things, but you also, the family that's would be, doing things too. You lose that connection, and we should be able to have access to our farmer. Our food is fresher. It's more nutritious. When the cow or the pig or whatever, or the person who raised it, we shouldn't lose that connection with our food or our land. And both of those as a result of just being like, oh, we're just going to get our stuff from the grocery store. So, my family, we raise dairy cows, sheep, pigs. I garden, do farmers market. I have a bakery. That's kind of my, there's not a lot of money in the dairy cows, the sheep, or the pigs. The bakery there is. And so I use a lot of the products that we raise, especially the milk and eggs, in my bakery. And so it's it's a kind of a farm to table experience. And I've been doing this for quite a while now. So, this is essentially my income during the summertime when I do farmers markets pretty much doubles our income, but it's not because of, what we make off of the sheep or the cows. Those are almost just expensive hobbies. And that's why a lot of people are getting out of farming, is because if you don't have something on the side to keep the farm going, it's just a money pit.